Live from Las Vegas, Nevada, it's Keto Cooking. Okay, it's time to have a little libation. And I want to send this one out to my buddy over at the Dude's Kitchen and Grill. Mike, far from a white Ukrainian, but some Irish whiskey. Shlanta. Today we're going to start making corned beef, and we're going to turn it into pastrami. This is a store-bought corned beef. It's already been cured. We'll rinse them off, and now I got them submerged in just regular cold tap water. Now after we get all the salt out of both briskets, there's about 7 pounds of meat there. What I'll be doing is I'll be making a rub, because we're going to smoke it first. So I'll be using some ground black pepper, also some ground mustard. I'm going to be using some granulated garlic and also some coriander. I'm using the ground coriander. I couldn't find any coarse, so I'll be using that, and also some ground cloves. Now, it normally calls for a little bit of brown sugar or some Tornado sugar or some form of sugar, but I'm not going to be adding no sugar to it to make it keto friendly and for a type 2 diabetic to use. And then what I'll do is I'll put it into the smoker. We'll smoke it, and then what I'll do is I'll cool it. And then I'll show you the procedure after that. And more than likely, I will put it into a steamer and steam it and then slice it up. And I think we're going to be making it on some Irish McChaffles. Pat and Mike are sitting in their boat and they're fishing, 2 Irishmen. Mike looks at Pat and he says, you know what? He says, we're not catching nothing. He says, but you know what's been crossing my mind lately? You know, you see these guys on TV, they fall, they get their gear on to go diving, and they sit on the boat and they fall backwards into the water. I always wondered why they did that. Mike looks at Pat and he says, for crying out loud, if he fell forward, he'd fall into the friggin' boat. It reminds me of a little story. Mike Murphy, a little chest pain, so he goes to see his doctor. And the doctor gets done examining him and says, you know what, Mike? He says, I think you have a little heart trouble. He says, but I think we'd be all right if I give you these pills here. So Mike looks at the pills and he says, well, do I have to take them every day? The doctor said, well, you know what? You take it on Monday, skip on Tuesday, and then you take them again on Wednesday and skip on Thursday, and so on. So Mike says, okay, he shrugs his shoulders and he leaves. A week or two later goes by, the doctor's walking down the boulevard and sees Mrs. Murphy. Oh, hello, Mrs. Murphy, how you doing? And how's Michael doing? She says, oh, doctor, Michael passed away last week. He says, oh my God, I'm very sorry to hear that. What happened? Well, he had a heart attack. The doctor says, oh my God. He says, I gave him pills to take. She says, yes, doc, the pills were fine, but all that bloody skipping like to kill him. Okay, day 2. I'm going to dump this water out here. I'm going to see exactly how much. You can tell how much is being extracted from the water from the beef because of the color of the water. Let me take this out here. Yeah, it's pink. So, what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn them over, and I'm going to add some more water to it. And I was hoping today that I could actually dry them, run it maybe 4 more hours, and then and start the process. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to be coating these with my pastrami coating that I'm going to be making, and let that sit overnight. Let that absorb in to the meat itself, and then smoke it the next day. Okay, you can see the clarity of the water getting that stuff out. This might just be able to go a couple more hours today, and like I said, I will be mixing up my pastrami coating, my rub, and I'm going to let that sit overnight also. I find in the past that it gives it a deeper flavor. Now this will be the first year I'm not using any kind of sugar whatsoever on it, so it might change the taste a little bit, but it also helps keep that sugar actually caramelizes and helps keep the coating on. So we're going to see what happens with that. As SpongeBob would say, 4 hours later. Let's take the top off of this. Yeah, just like I thought. Not too much more salt come out of it, so I'm going to drain this, and we will start getting it ready to put the rub on. Okay, getting the first one out. Drop it on a paper towel, and I'm going to pat it dry a little bit. I mean, it's still going to be moist, but I want this rub to stick to it. Now, from being that is in a corned beef state right now, it does have some of the pickling spice on it, the curing spice. That's fine, it ain't going to bother nobody. You don't need to take that all off. Okay. This side dried up. Looks pretty meaty. I mean, it's got some fats in it. This part up top here, this part here is called the dickle, and this is the flat. So between the two of them, we'll get a couple nice cuts of pastrami. I'm going to mix up this rub right now, and I'm going to be adding. I ran out of bowls. I'm enhancing this a little bit from the way I used to make it, because I used to put a lot of sugar on it. So to the bowl, add some paprika. I'm probably going to put a tablespoon and a half of paprika. Also, I'm going to use a teaspoon of granulated onion. Okay, and then I'm going to be using a teaspoon of allspice into there. Now this here is a tablespoon and a half of coriander. This is a tablespoon and a half of granulated garlic. 2 teaspoons of mustard powder. And 2.5 tablespoons of pepper. Okay, now I'm going to mix this up. Like I said, no sugar in it. And I'm not going to use any artificial flavoring just to compensate, because that won't do me any good as far as my type 2. So, but the taste should be pretty close without the sugar in it. Okay, there it is. I'll break that up a little bit more, and we'll be coating the meat a little later on. Now, also, I will be having a few shots of my favorite, okay, Jameson Black Barrel. Okay, and also I picked up, first time ever I seen on sale, Jameson's. So, usually have that in my coffee sometime. Once in a while, not every time, but every once in a while I'll have it. Alright, so there you are. We're getting ready for St. Patty's Day. And making some pastrami rather than just having corned beef. I put a little bit in the bottom of the pan and liberally sprinkle all over. Now, what I'll do is I'm going to wrap these up into tin foil. I will be putting them back into the refrigerator, or put them into the container, and let these sit overnight. And first thing tomorrow morning, I'm going to be using apple wood. You don't want to use a heavy, you don't want to use like a mesquite or hickory or anything like that, because it's going to overpower the taste. And honestly, I'm not going to smoke them that long. I just want to get the flavor to them, and then I'm going to slow cook them for a bit, to make them tender, just like I would with a regular brisket or pulled pork. Same principle, only this is going to have this delicious coating on it. I'm going to make it into the pastrami. Same. We're an Irishman. How come you're not making corned beef, cabbage, and potatoes and stuff? Well, gotta try something different. And doing keto, I can't have the potatoes and no breads and nothing like that. So what we're going to be doing is we're going to be making this pastrami here, and I got a little leprechaun coming over. They're going to be making. We're going to have McChoffles and put this on something different. Okay, here we go. So now I got it all coated, pretty much. Now I already wrapped one. Now I'll proceed to wrap this one. That's another piece of foil on it. I know this coating is going to stick good because it's sticking to my fingers, really. Okay, there we go. See you tomorrow. Okay, I do have the smoker heating up, and I will be using these applewood chips. And I have my racks all set. These are nice smoking racks, a little drip pan sort of thing. So let's see what we look like here. Oh yeah, yes. Looks great. The smells are. I'm gonna pick this up gingerly, and that's on one rack. Move that out of the way. I'll get pastrami number 2. Let's open this one up. I used 2. I was going to make 1 corned beef, but you know what? Me and Marie both decided that lately anymore we're liking the pastrami better than the corned beef. I don't know, just a matter of taste. Back in our days in the restaurant and stuff, I mean, we used to do, I did a ton of them. I think the last count we did was we did somewhere in the order of 1,500 to 1,800 pounds of corned beef. That's a lot. So I've seen my days of corned beef. Now, also, this is going to be smoking. I'm going to be doing it between 250 and 300 in that area. I'm not that thrilled about electric smoke, but that's what I'm allowed to use. So also be using my food thermometer. We're looking for an internal temperature of around 165, I would think, in between there. Now, after I cook this, we're not going to eat this right away. So we're going to probably test one and then hold the other one. And to reheat it, I will be steaming it, okay? Just like they do in the delis. And that's what we're going to do. So let's get smoking. Go. Absolute perfection. This is delicious. Let me get the official taste tester over here. This one might not last until tomorrow. Oh, there goes the fingers. Absolutely delicious. Good taste. Perfection. Came out great. I had a little doubt about my smoker. There again, I don't particularly care for an electric smoker. I'd rather the regular smoke. This is absolutely delicious. Oh, she took it from me. Okay. Now I sliced the pastrami up, and I sliced it as thin as I could get it, as far as without being on a slicer. And what we're going to be doing is I'm going to be taking it, and I'll take this pot of water boiling. I'll take the cover off, and I'll put this little bit of screen over top of it. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take and place some pastrami on top here. Now you go into a delicatessen like in New York or whatever, and this is where they are. They're already in a steamer, whole, and they'll put them on a slicer and slice them up. It's time. We are going to put together our pastrami sandwich on jalapeno truffles. A shot of Irish whiskey. Celebrate St. Patty's Day. Okay, I made a fast Ukrainian dressing. You don't know what that means. That is mayonnaise, some sriracha, old Tommy spice, and cut up some hothouse cucumber. Now I'm going to put the sandwich together and get moving. Pastrami come up nice. You can see the steam falling off it. One truffle to the bottom. Now these are jalapeno pepper, little green onion, cream cheese, a little bit of pork rind, one egg. I'm going to put that in here. I'm not a big mustard eater, but my wife, she'll have the mustard. And then what we'll do is I will place on some pastrami. Leave some there for the bride. And I'll put a little bit more on top. Put that there. Slice it in half. 1, 2, just for a little bit of crunch. There you have it. St. Patty's Day pastrami on a McTruffle. Enjoy.